Crockett?
Yes.
My name is Mears, Ben Mears. Looking for a place to rent.
For how long?
6 months, maybe.
Family?
No.
Furnished?
Yes.
Can't think of any.
How about that house on the hill?
Which house?
The one as you're coming to town.
The Marston House.
Is that for sale or rent?
It's sold. Can't think of anything, not offhand. Might try Eva Miller's boarding house.
It's real nice.
It's on Railroad Street.
Yeah, I remember.
You remember?
Thank you very much.
Found my dog dead.
This is Film Sack. Oh, sure. Hello and welcome to Film Sack. This is Film Sack, mining the very depths of film entertainment for all mankind. This is episode 674. I'm Scott Johnson. I'm here today with Brian. There's nothing quite like Fred Ward in a full three-piece plaid suit done away.
Oh, but wait till you see what he's got underneath.
Also, I meant Willard. Sorry, Fred Willard, not Ward.
Oh, you did say, you did. You're right. Yeah, Fred Willard.
My bad.
Yeah, got it.
My bad.
But either way, he's got silky. Anyway. Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Just tired. This week on Film Sack, I didn't sleep well last night. Had a funny dream about a long-ass 1979 Stephen King miniseries where vampires with a business plan and no dental coverage move into the small and sweaty town of Salem's, but not a lot of witches, none by my count, and begin a geometric progression of biblical proportions. It's a real 6-cubed amount of vampires blowing smoke and waiting to be invited in situation. No thanks. I gave blood last week. Now shoot. Anywho. Feels like it's been 2 years since I started this intro, and since then I've made a vocation change from book author, boyfriend who comes over to meet the parents to popsicle stick crossmaker with a side hustle of holy water pickup and delivery. Now, excuse me, I must go plunge a wooden stake into my ex-lover's chest while avoiding eye contact. Randy, have you seen my 6-pack of beer and or wife? Hey, are those silk? I revoke my invitation.
Nice.
You're Fred Ward?
Yeah. I was thinking your intro might be twice as long, given how long this thing was this week, but
like
I had
one intro for each
time.
part.
I had half as much time to write it.
yeah, you did the edit like they tried to do in theaters. It failed horribly, but yours succeeded, so nice job.
Oh, well, thank you.
Also with us today, Randy, I need an old British butler type guy to handle all my plastic-wrapped, ready-to-bleed children, Jordan.
Aloha, Scott. Brian. Welcome back. Thank you for coming to this gathering of most every man in the town as we prepare to go outside as a search party and scour the woods. Being from a small town, I know you've all done this before, but I'm going to go ahead and explain it to you just to be sure. I'm the sheriff, Baron Harkonnen, although I'm weirdly going to call myself Constable later. I don't know. My job is to completely fail you all when it comes time to do my job. I'm going to make a big old country mess of things, and you're going to stare at my incredible eyebrows. They're like bonsai trees that haven't been attended to in years. But first, I'm going to give you 3 rules. Number 1, so y'all know how everyone saw the town fat guy just drive off with his slut wife sporting a shiner within minutes of her boss dying mysteriously? We're not going to consider that even the least bit suspicious. We're not even going to mention it again. So drop it. Number 2, we have 2 different new people in town. So those are naturally our prime suspects. But Ben here is blonde and has a friendly manner. So we're going to rule him out as a suspect instantly. We make snap judgments around here.
Yeah.
I heard the other guy say chow, and that is suspicious. Number 3, if you see something notable, like a piece of torn fabric hanging from a shrubbery, don't touch it. Leave that to me. I will touch it and ruin its usefulness as evidence. I will touch it so much, but not you, Ben.
Not you. Nicely done. Also, good poll on the Baron Harkonnen. I completely forgot that actor played him in the original Dune. All right, nicely done. Also with us, and finally, Brian, I hate it when he scratches at my window at 2 a.m. Ibit.
But come, let me in, Scott. Let me in. Scritch, 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 scritch. Let me in. Right, let's get to the song. I haven't done anything with this artist yet, so I will tell you, I wrestled with the Beach Boys In My Room, which was going to be called Freeze and Zoom, because they use that a lot in this movie, freeze frame and then zoom into it.
Yep.
But boy, is that a slow song. And then I was going to do Piano Man and introduce all the characters that live in Salem's Lot. But I couldn't come up with anything that rhymed really, there was a good parody of the words Piano Man, like author man. There's nothing. There was nothing.
Sure.
So I settled on this one right here.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Dude, I unapologetically like the original, so I'd like hearing a parody of that.
Yeah. Boy, she's an octave higher than I am. And
Okay.
you can really feel it.
I'm not sure she is anymore, though. I hear these days she keeps it way lower than she did when she was a kid.
She's a
That's true.
surprisingly good singer, like as a pure singer.
Mhm.
She is.
Yeah, she's talented as hell, it turns out. Not just but when you listen to her talk these days, she sounds like she's eating cigarettes. She's got such a low crusty voice. And that's fine. I don't want to judge anyone for eating a pack of
always
cigarettes.
been-
No,
She's always been trending.
I'm going to
She's
judge
always been
people if they
trending that
eat
way.
cigarettes.
Yeah,
I will.
You know what? I might judge that as well. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I
That's
looked it
judge-worthy.
up when you first started. I was like, "Oh, this is Party in the USA." I'm gonna look up this song. She wrote and recorded this song when she was 17.
Yeah.
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 That's amazing.
She's very young. There's a great mashup between her and Biggie Smalls called I forget the name of it. It's part of that one
Called
thing they do every year, the big mashup thing they
Yeah, the booty mashups.
booty mashups, and it's so
Yeah.
good. I can't remember the name of it. It's like Party and Bullshit. That's the name. It's great. Look it up.
Okay, all right.
It's really, really
Awesome.
good. Hey, everybody, we're here to talk about Salem's Lot. Not all the various versions except the one. The OG adaptation, Salem's Lot 1979, originally a two-part televised miniseries. It also got edited into a shorter film that did not do well at movie theaters. A lot of people,
And
turns
you guys,
out, though.
and you guys wouldn't let me watch that one instead.
Well,
I didn't see any of us stopping you.
yeah, you could have. You could
We're not
have.
going to stop you.
I can feel the judgment.
Yeah.
I like vampire outside my window going.
It's been. Can you believe it's been 6 years since we've watched a 3-hour-long movie?
It's been a while,
Wow.
dude.
It's been a while.
Yeah. This
How about
one,
a 2.5 hour movie? How about those?
this one, we've done
Right.
those for sure.
I think
Yeah.
we did that
Yeah.
like the week before. It wasn't there was something we watched recently that was
Yeah.
Something was
It was
really
stupid
long.
long.
What was that?
yeah.
I don't remember.
I remember Scarface was longer than I was expecting.
Oh yeah, that was close to 3.
Yeah.
That was pretty long. This one is very long. It's 3 hours exactly if you don't count the opening credits. I did a little timer at the top, and right at 3 hours of the start of the full 3 hours, the credits end. So you get a few minutes of credits, but it's Salem's
that's
Lot from
interesting.
'79, and they put it out as a two-parter because I don't know, were they just not confident as in the theatrical deal? I don't know. I don't know what that was.
It was made for this. Like the original plan was for it to be a movie, and then they realized, no, we've got a really long script.
Mm.
Let's put it on TV.
Yeah.
And so now it's going to be a TV series, and then they cut it down to only 2 parts because it's horror. You can't really in the 1979 you can't really make a case for a
Right.
horror series on TV.
Yeah, they planned on making it continue, right? They were going to be on the run, fighting new foes and new kind of vampires that come for the revenge or whatever, and then it just didn't happen.
It's what they tried to do with Under the Dome is like extend it beyond its original miniseries quality and just say, "Ooh, let's make a series out of this." So maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they didn't decide to turn it into a full-on series.
Silver linings. I'm going to go ahead and play the Fake Fletcher so that we can get a better feel for the Stephen King adapted Salem's Lot, his second ever published novel from 1979. Here it is. This goes places. So I apologize to your ears right away. Here we go.
Yay! Salem's Lot! A novelist and a young horror fan attempt to save a small New England town which has been invaded by vampires. It's like the entire guest starring cast of Love Boat in this thing.
It's like
really
that
is.
AI is begging us to release us from his mortal
I know
coil.
exactly.
It just-
Kill me, please.
And just so you guys know, for the record, when I put in the where it goes crazy at the beginning with the name,
Yeah.
I'll show you the entire prompt. Like, this is ridiculous. This is what it looks like. I'll put it in our shared. And for those listening at home, this is just the text that I put into the thing that it then takes and makes a voice out of, supposedly from Mario's voice. Which is so incorrect at this point. But that's it. That's it.
You put an exclamation mark at the end. Maybe that's the problem.
That must be all it takes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna amp this up to 12.
But you'd think it would do that with the last line, because I have one there too.
Yeah.
Maybe it's short.
Well, true. Yeah.
No, I don't know.
You should do next time do a question mark after the movie title.
Oh,
and
that's
just, you know,
good.
we'll see where it goes.
You know what?
Yeah.
I might do it right now in real time.
Okay.
Let's hear what it does if we just ask
Salem's
the
Lot?
question. Salem's Lot. We'll just do that part. Here we go.
Salem's Lot?
Salem's Lot?
Salem's Lot. I got it right with the exclamation point.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
funny.
I don't get it.
That's funny.
Anyway,
So I want to
yeah.
go back to the beginnings on this thing because
Book?
usually when we haven't ever touched a franchise or a series of films, we often, we've heard of something that is notable, right? In the franchise or the series, we've heard, oh, this thing is really, really bad, the third part or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's always difficult for us as a group of four guys who are going to watch a movie together to like insert ourselves into a series.
Mhm.
And so like the best thing we can do is just start at the very beginning. So what we're doing with James Bond,
Mhm.
right? We start at the very beginning, and then no matter what we do, we don't have questions about, well, I guess if we'd seen the first one, we would, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So like this is us starting at the beginning, and I'm like, oh no, it's really good, and I probably don't ever want to watch any other Salem's Lot.
Yeah, you know
stuff.
what? This is actually this is my biggest takeaway from this thing. It is definitely a thing of its time. It feels like 1979 in every possible way, but there are moments in this where I was a little surprised it ended up on TV. It's like, holy shit, that kid at the window, genuinely creepy. The vampire's pretty creepy, although him bonking the two heads in the kitchen made me laugh out loud.
I had no idea they were dead until they said, my parents are dead. And I'm like,
Right,
oh,
I know,
snap.
I
Yeah.
think that would have just made him unconscious. Apparently, in one of the other versions, the 2004 version, and it's Rutger Hauer, by the way, as the primo ballerino vampire. He actually snaps the neck of Danny's mother to or Mark's mother.
To really put a point on emphasis.
Oh no,
there,
Danny.
so
Yeah, Danny.
Yeah. Yeah. I read the book forever ago, and I've kind of here lately been tempted to read it again because I've been reading a lot of horror this year. I always try to around this time of year. And I thought, probably ought to pull something from the old days or something I haven't read in a long time, and I thought that might be a good pick. But if I remember right, yeah, there's a much more not just menacing vampire involved, but this is kind of an overall take. This thing takes forever to show him, right?
Yeah,
forever, like almost to the whole second half of the miniseries, which I understand that in the context of a miniseries, you're trying to pad the thing out and lead up to a thing and have people on the hook and all that. But that took way too long. And in the book, he's all over the place. Like he's not just going. Ah! I mean, there's talking and him talking to his familiar dude, his butler guy.
Oh yeah,
and all of the plans to go there's dialogue with him, and he's much more intelligent. He's not just NosferatuJr.com, Timu with the blue skin and everything.
He's the blue skin is a weird touch, but it is a very effective look, and I think more so. Having him being this, what we do in the shadows, basement vampire,
Peter
from the movie, not from the TV show.
Right.
Peter,
I love Peter so much. Anyway,
right.
So it's so cool because I didn't watch any of the 2004 one, and I God, you look at the cast list of the 2004 one, and you wonder why this 1971 version is the highest rated on Rotten Tomatoes of the three versions that we've gotten.
Mm-hmm.
But Rob Lowe, Andre Brower, Donald Sutherland, Rutger Hauer, James Cromwell, all in the 2004 version. Yet it's Hutch fronted version from 1979 that's got a better.
I gotta say, like James Mason and Bonnie Bedelia and Julie Cobb are like that level in 1979. Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't really recognize it until we get into the meat of the movie. We're like, oh, at least for me, I was really pleased with the acting. I thought the directing was top notch.
Not
So,
bad. Like again, it's a thing of its
Toby
time, but
Hooper.
it felt like it had a taste of the 70s horror thing that everybody was raving about in that era, right?
Well, I mean, you had Toby Hooper, big screen director of horror coming to TV.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big deal.
he
Big
made
deal.
this. He made this after Texas Chainsaw Massacre and right before Poltergeist.
Yeah.
This is in the prime of his horror career.
Yeah, and it was also a lot more understated compared to, say, Chainsaw, which I know is, it's like early Peter Jackson stuff. You're like, holy shit, this is the guy that did Lord of the Rings. This is chaos, blood, gore, whatever. And that's kind of how the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre was. And then you go to this, and it's just like a more subdued, cerebral thing. What I was having a hard time focusing on, though, was like, oh my gosh, it's Holly Gennaro from Die Hard. Oh my gosh, it's Fred Willard from all the comedy. Oh, it's Chris Pine's looking dad, but not his dad, but the guy that looks like Chris Pine's dad. I can't think of his name.
Yeah.
It's George Drunza. I like that guy, the fat guy that's mad and wants to shoot his wife and slaps her when the door's shut. Jeffrey Lewis was like, holy crap.
You just named some people. Can you believe it's the first film sack we've ever sacked? Like George Zunza, I just blows my mind that we've never seen this guy on film sack before.
He's been on a lot of TV stuff, but do we have anything that we've seen with him?
No, but boy, he is top notch creepy. He's the real bad guy in this film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We haven't done Crimson Tide yet. That's the one I thought we did, and we haven't. He's great as Cobb on there. Yeah.
Our main actors, David Soul, James Mason, and Lance Kerwin. This is our first film on film sack for them. I also looked up Bonnie Bedelia. This is our second film. She was
Die Hard 2, right?
Die Hard 1.
We didn't do Die Hard 2.
We haven't done 2 yet.
Sack?
I don't think.
Oh, okay.
We should, don't we?
We totally should. Christmas time. Let's do Die Hard 2.
Have we only done one Die Hard? We've done no other Die Hards.
No, we didn't. Come on, we didn't do the Samuel Jackson.
Nope.
Really?
I'm with you, dude. That blows my mind. I could have
sworn that if there was any of them that we did, I could have sworn it was Die Hard 3 with a Vengeance that we saw, or even the one with Kevin Smith. No, wow, okay, I'm amazed.
That's crazy.
So, I looked up all these actors. We've almost it's almost the first for all of them, and then we get to Jeffrey Lewis, and of course we've seen Jeffrey. This is our seventh movie with Jeffrey Lewis, but he's such a successful character actor in our time frame, in our like late 70s to late 80s time frame. Jeffrey Lewis he was in Every Which Way But Loose and Maverick and Tango and Cash and The Way of the Gun and so on.
He's you're pulling him up on a mobile device like IMDb. I think on my iPad, I'm like, oh yeah, what else have we seen Jeffrey Lewis in? It had to like open up a separate page. IMDb says here's a whole page full of Jeffrey Lewis appearances.
He was in tons of stuff, and he looked like he was born at the age of 53.
He does. Yeah.
Even in his 20s, he was like got that jowl thing going, and just a trippy looking guy. I'd love that dude.
And I've known of him for a long time because he made a bunch of New Age albums, and I had a couple of them as a kid.
Really?
Basically, Jeffrey Lewis went to Africa, got really, really high, and then came back and formed a New Age band, and it was called Celestial Navigations, and was successful with it.
I never even heard of it. Celestial. I used to love New Age music, so let's see. What's it called? Celestial Navigations?
Celestial Navigations.
Yeah, it's him telling stories over a bed of electronica.
Oh, no way.
I was on the set of Tango and Cash.
Oh, I found
Kurt
it.
Russell came up.
Do you guys want to hear this? I got some. Hold on.
Sure, let's hear it.
Here we go. I don't know how long this little intro is.
As it moved through the countryside, the snow-covered land slipped smoothly by.
All right.
I can now get rid of my Better Sleep app. I can just
Finally, unsub to that trash.
So much for Vancouver Sleep Clinic, right?
Yeah. Right. That's crazy. I would have never would have picked that for that guy.
And I started with him. Like, it wasn't my parents had his albums. I got his album because I saw him on a late night show. It was like The Tonight Show, and here's Celestial Navigations, and they did do 3 minutes, and then Jeffrey Lewis sits and talks to Johnny, and I'm like, oh, I need that, and so and I found the bargain basement copy of something, and then boom, and I love it. I think it's awesome. But this guy, like, what is he? He is in such a different movie in Salem's Lot than everyone else. It's so bizarre to me how
Yeah.
Jeffrey Lewis is doing a thing that, like, you could pluck it out of this movie and just see this.
There,
And it's amazing.
Yeah, he's really
there is
good.
no need to have the graveyard keeper storyline at all. It's really almost inconsequential, but I would not remove it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Mhm.
He's great.
Oh yeah.
Even
you know
seeing
why-
that shocking dead dog.
You know why? You know why it's
Right.
really important though is at the end when the kid is watching Starsky kill the vampire. It is Starsky, not Hutch, right?
Hutch. It's Hutch.
Why
Yeah,
is it
It's Hutch.
why is
David
it-
Soul was Hutch.
I always get it confused too.
The
He's
curly
one of
haired
the two.
brunette was Starsky.
I always mix that up. Anyway,
Yeah, me too.
And Hutch Hutchinson.
so Hutch is out there pounding the steak into Blue Boy, right?
So slow.
And
Jeez,
then-
could have sharpened that thing before he got there.
And then the kid who looks like the same
Niles Crane. Young Niles Crane.
Niles Crane, exactly. His IMDb photo is uncanny.
Lance Kerwin.
He's over there kind of staring, and that door with the lock is still open. And when those things start
Oh,
creeping
yeah.
behind him and slowly working their way out, that's next level shit. That looked
It is.
insane.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
is
it-
so good.
Really
It's
scared
the
me.
ol- Thank goodness for that, by the way, because if you didn't have that, all you would have is a man very slowly
Yeah.
hammering. Would you
pounding.
hurry up and hammer, hammer, man?
Right, right.
I hammer a nail. You hammer faster than this.
Yeah.
Aren't you excited right now?
Brian,
Hurry
look,
up.
Stephen King vampires, they're like titanium hearts, all right? We just have to work. And this this brings me to my only beef about this thing because I actually had a good time with it. It didn't feel as long as it clearly was. There was a lot of stretchy talk during the first part, and then things got more action oriented. That you'll actually hear that today when I play clips because they kind of end roughly around the time the thing splits. There's not a lot of great dialogue after that.
Right.
But
Mhm.
all that being said, the only real beef I have with this thing is they decided to, and this is not in the book so much, if I remember right, decided to throw a bunch of haunted house tropes into this thing that don't have any rules. And you guys know how I feel about that. I freaking hate that. So you're going to say, oh, the
Are you talking
chairs
about, like,
can
doors
move.
open and
Yeah.
stuff? And
Chairs can move suddenly. And
I think the vampire's doing that. I don't think it's haunted house
Yeah,
stuff.
I was curious about that because I never read the book, but I mean when the vampire comes in like a train and suddenly appears on the floor in the kitchen, I was like, what the hell's going on?
well, and that's what I mean is like he's in the book. There's no like shit moving around in the book. It's just he doesn't have those kind of powers. He's just a really nasty
I
vampire.
understand. Right, like
So they add all that to add more ambiance or whatever to the film, and it was like, all right, so this kitchen, all the chairs move by themselves.
creepy.
That's cool.
It was creepy. I mean, it's not, but if there was going to be a haunted house, it would be the mansion. It would be the Marsden mansion.
Which
It wouldn't be the kids.
What
you know,
a-
the kids
what a
house.
payoff on that house, by the way, Ibbot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they kept showing the outside of the house, and I'm thinking, oh, it's a Psycho house. Cool. It kind of looks like Psycho, but it's not. You know, it's kind of obviously looks like it's been modified to look
Mhm.
like that. But anyway, I was like, oh, what's it look like inside? Because we're always outside staring in. You get inside, and it's like, oh, it's decrepit and dusty.
Yeah,
just
it is
a real
a-
shit show.
like stuff still falling from the ceiling, and
Yeah,
when
yeah,
Bonnie
paint
Bedelia is
spilling.
walking around and looking around for stuff, and she nearly steps on some rats, I'm like, look up at the ceiling, just look up at the ceiling, figure out
That
where all
house-
that dust is coming from.
Yeah.
That house needed to be condemned, so burning it was the right answer. Maybe not with your girlfriend in it, but it definitely needed.
Yeah,
I loved how I loved how most of the people who had a line that included the phrase Marston House
Yeah,
tried
Marston.
to say it so it sounded a little bit like Monster House.
Mm.
I loved
Oh,
that.
interesting.
Every time
Yeah.
they were like, "Oh, did they just try to say
Monster
Monster House?" Because that's cool.
Yeah. Also, they're playing
Yeah.
with that accent, that northeast,
Marston.
Oh,
Oh, you're not going up to the
Some of them
Marston
were.
house, are you?
Some of them were. Some of them were completely not at all.
Oh, and some of them would change. Like even the best one was probably Jeffrey Lewis. Maybe the other Drunza guy. Maybe they were the best at it, but they were also
Quit putting an R in a guy who's got two
Marsden.
DZs in his name.
well.
Dzunzazin.
I'm invoking the spirit of
Fred Willard.
Nicole.
Fred
She's
Willard
there.
didn't try at all to do a
No, but
Northeastern
he
accent.
seemed like an outsider anyway, right? So I
Yeah.
mean, I was
He did.
down with that.
Yeah.
He's also my
Some
chick in the.
California guy who came to.
He's my chick in the bucket because that dude, after his little affair breakup and goes outside and sees
Oh,
the
he's
slows
dead.
him hand.
Apparently, there was some cut scenes. I didn't see it, but I read about the shorter cut, this more violent, made for for theaters, and apparently, I guess he has to put the gun in his mouth or something. So I mean, I'm like, ooh,
Well, let's say he
Red
did all
Willard
those
with a
things.
gun in his
Okay,
mouth.
I also have a problem with that scene. We'll get to that in a second. But he goes outside. The camera zooms in the weird way with the hand, and then they cut to a
freezes
commercial.
him.
So
freeze frame.
that's all we get
And
with
then
that,
he's-
and that's fine.
Because then he's driving, or he's behind the
He's
wheel
dead.
of the car that
He goes-
interrupts the looky at the lake.
Wait,
He goes
Okay.
bonk with his head.
Hold on. So Fred Willard leaves the house.
yeah.
The vampire has arrived in town, and
Yeah.
Fred Willard's the first person the vampire meets face to face.
First
And it-
real victim, yeah, except for that
and
kid, I
it-
guess. But.
And it scares him to death. He dies on the lawn of the house he just left. All right.
I don't know. We don't know. They don't show how he.
Then Straker has to come take the body, put it in the car, and set
Straker.
it up so that it looks like there was an accident and he died driving.
Right.
And that's
It's not a lot of
So-
closure, is all I'm saying. It's just
No.
all of that not being depicted is a shame
yeah.
It
because like there's
Yeah,
because it would have given us a lot more to chew on with Straker. Instead, you're just like, this guy is kind of like a shop decorator. Like he doesn't really,
Mhm.
Yeah.
doesn't really.
Yeah,
do anything.
and you think I didn't realize, okay, that he just was scared to death, because you're thinking, oh, okay, well, he's going to now be a vampire as well, a silky boxered shirtless vampire.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, he's just dead. He's just dead.
Yeah, why wouldn't
Yes.
a vampire want to have another minion like he did with everybody else? All that stuff just was weird to me. Maybe Fred Willard's too much of a crack up to do it. I don't know what
He's
the
too
reasons
old.
are, but I'm still giving him the bucket. All right.
Grab a bucket.
So here's the other thing I was going to say about that scene. When Durunza, sorry,
Yeah.
when he
Cully.
comes
His name's
home,
Cully.
yeah, we'll call him
Movie.
Cully. When he comes home and he makes him hold that gun in his forehead or his face, I'm like, that's stupid, because maybe in '79 it seemed normal, but that gives Fred Willard all of the control and all of the leverage. All you have to do is turn that thing. It's not hard. You have the length of the barrel. You have all the leverage. Just go whack, turn it this way,
But
run, wrestle it away, whatever you got to do. I realize the other guy's kind of big and probably wrestle you to the floor or whatever, but that annoyed the shit out of me. I hated it.
Zunza, he went on for like 10 minutes about how many pounds of pressure he had on the trigger and how much it would take to do it. So he was implying that even the slightest move would result in
5 pound trigger, and he's already got 3 pounds on it. Apparently,
I would
It's
say
not
I've seen those fingers. I'm saying maybe already 4.5 pounds.
Bottom line is you don't
Sausage
want to
fingers.
melee fight with a long gun. That's just you just don't want to do that. You want to stay away from your opponent
Yeah.
when you got a long gun.
I completely agree.
Sure.
And so that annoyed me because it either meant Fred Willard is completely inadequate to the world, or, and maybe that's
Yes.
fine. Yes, the answer is yes. Or it's just bad direction. Like, hey, this would be cool. This is menacing, and in a way it is.
Yeah.
But all I could think of is no, just go "Reh," and you're done. And even if he fires it, shoots up into the wall, you've got the advantage. Go after him.
Maybe you get
I
maybe
feel-
you get a side, maybe a glancing, a scratch from if you're not able to get it away from your face in time or something. But it's not gonna kill you.
Mm-mm.
My favorite thing is when we first see Fred Willard, the very first scene of
Mhm.
Fred Willard as Larry Crockett. He's got his hand on Julie Cobb's shoulder,
Mm.
and he's like rubbing her shoulder,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, oh, they're a couple. And then you find out she's married to the fat guy in town, and then you find out the townspeople call her Boom Boom Bonnie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
She
Yeah.
clearly
Like,
got
oh,
around a little bit.
And she will turn on you in a
Oh,
second.
oh,
Like, she
man.
will. She will.
raping me.
Exactly. She will say whatever
All
it
right,
takes
eat
to
it.
get out of any situation.
Yeah, and that really went from 1 to 100, right? Because they were in
It
there
really
cuddling,
did.
going, "Oh, your little silky panties," or whatever, and then suddenly he came in here and tried to RAPE me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's King, right? That's a Stephen King thing right there. If like that made it from the book.
I don't remember. I
be
gotta
wrong.
read it again. I just feel like the book
Right.
was a little more competent in those areas, but I could
Well, I
be
think it's the
remembering it wrong.
character writing. I think that's how he does last time. It's because you just never know. It's like you was talking about the gun thing. It's like I like to think that I'd be like, ha, I'm in a situation that I can control. But then if you're in the situation, you're like, do I trust this person? I've known this person for years. Is he just trying to intimidate me? If I jerk this away, am I going to escalate the situation? I mean, it's already in my face.
Mhm.
But yeah, those are the kind of things I think about when I analyze what would I do? What would you do?
Yeah,
And we see in the trivia that a lot of characters from the book were dropped for the movie, and that Stephen King approved. And then at the same time, there's some characters in the movie where I'm like, I don't understand why they even retained these. Like the bed and breakfast hostess and her ex-husband, the town drunk, were retained for the movie. They provide a lot of like interesting characterization,
Right.
but there's no story for them at all.
Yeah, the book has way more about those people.
Yeah.
But like all his books do, right? There's Dunaway's right. There's like a conflict between characters that Stephen King always does. Like the big fear is there's a vampire moving to town, but there's all these mini fears of this guy's drunk all the time. This guy thinks he's taking his girl, so he's going to beat him up and send him to the hospital. Like there's all this other shit that just heightens the tension. Hard to do that in like a 3-hour adaptation, you know? Because it's like 5 movies in one kind of.
Right.
In a weird
I think
way.
the reason why they kept, was it Eva Miller, the character that I guess the bed, is she Marie Windsor, I believe?
Right,
I guess they probably just needed
boarding house owner. Yeah.
That's the kind of actress is that not her?
It's
yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. But that's like your TV draw. It's like, oh, look, we want to pull in some of these, old movie watchers who, you flash her face in the commercials because she has a pretty small role to kind of attract people in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely. I'm saying there were definitely reasons to have some of these characters. I'm just saying, like, it's too bad that we hadn't gotten to a point where people making movies like this were doing a lot more dialogue, because there could have been some really interesting parts of the book that were retained.
Yeah,
and instead they're just sort of townsfolk. The townsfolk are also here.
Is Elijah Cook Jr. just not amazing? I love him. Weasel, he's the town drunk.
The town drunk. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And like, there's a couple of scenes where you're just like, ooh, look at him. Like the sheriff goes and asks him to keep an eye on the new guy in town.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, all right, but that doesn't pay off at all. Nothing happens.
Good point. You know what? He might be the better check in the bucket. He really doesn't have any resolution. We don't hear from him again.
No, and last I think we see him, he's like what, reading. Oh, actually, that's actually not true. We get some verbal resolution on him because she says that Weasel tried to bite me, so he has been turned.
Oh, thank goodness he was turned. I love that. He's a vampire now.
He's a vampire.
Well, in the book, Barlow overcomes almost everyone in the town.
Yeah,
it's a Stephen King book. You're not going to survive.
No, and he's he's the kind of vampire too that, by the way, that is as ancient as they. The ones that are all like Nosferatu looking are the oldest vampires. They're the ones that have been around forever. And they do a great job of that in the book, while still making him intelligent and not just a raving animal. And in the adaptation, or at least this one, Barlow's just it's just an animal.
I thought he was patient zero, so I thought the rest of the vampires were going to dissipate once he got killed. But
I don't think it works that way.
I get my wrong.
I think they don't have his power. They don't have his resistance to stuff.
Right.
Like he could just take that cross out of his hand.
They die easily after they've been turned.
Yeah.
They really don't. They don't get some kind of super strength or.
No, they just fade away. They don't even burn out.
Yeah,
their teeth stay the same. They're good. They're fine.
Yeah, I mean, what King did with that book basically was say, let's take the archetype everybody is already familiar with, this ancient style thing, but let's bring it to this tiny town in Maine. That's the story. Right. It isn't. It's usually like, oh, in Transylvania, he's up on the hill in his big castle or whatever. This is like, no, what if they shipped him across the world in a crate and it was cold all the time around the crate, and that was weird. But anyway, now he's in the town.
I did love how the crate in the back of the truck, when they were hauling it, kept moving,
sliding
getting
forward,
closer. At one point in time, it was on his side. It was like a parody almost of the idea of hauling something like that.
It's really just the vampire being a dick and saying, I'm going to make you have to carry this thing even further out of the truck.
Yeah. That's a good point, because they have to open the thing and go all the way back now.
Climb in and push it forward.
Yeah, poor guys. I don't know, but there is a tone to the entire affair that it does match the Kingiverse, right? That's where I think its greatest success is, because from what I understand, I haven't seen any of them, including the new one, but every other adaptation down the road did not capture that feeling that he does so well. Right. So it's probably a Toby Hooper's just tuned into it, man. Just like, I know how to do this, so I'm gonna do this. So let's do this.
We're gonna hoop this up.
Yeah. Did you? So Dunaway, you were going to bite the bullet and watch the edited movie version, but you didn't do it.
Not additionally, I was going to watch it instead. I was being
Oh,
sarcastic about biting the bullet.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was going to
You're
take
gonna
a
do it
silver
watching
bullet
the
right
edition.
to the face.
I thought you were going to go 4.5 hours of content. That's what I
Heck
thought you were
no,
going to do.
man.
That is dedication, man. That is
Yeah.
a huge
No,
bullet.
I was like, I tell you guys what, I'll watch the other one and y'all watch that 3-hour piece of crap. Ha
Well, Ibit, you said maybe you were going to watch the new one. Did you get a chance to or no?
Oh no! Went to a Halloween parade last night instead, which was much more fun. And
By all accounts, it might review better too because that thing's not getting great reviews. Seems to be.
that's again. This one doesn't have the 2024 thing, and it's just a movie on Max, but does not have the big star power that the 2004 or even the at its time the 1979 version. But yeah, boy, I watched the trailer and the trailer looks great,
Yeah,
especially
I
right
agree.
after watching the 1979 version, and those scenes.
One of the things we didn't talk about I'm sorry, and I thought you were through. Sorry.
No, I
think I was through.
I just like
I was
I
going
just
to
like
do
the
an
sound.
and then
Yeah.
on top of your thing. Apologies,
Yeah.
but
I think you should do this from now on. If you want to do anything in life, even when you're supposed to raise your hand, just go. Just do that sound.
Well, I thought what was coming out my mouth was and because I thought it was through,
Yeah,
and I was
sure.
going to do it and this.
You're fine.
But now we've went so far off track. I think I was going to say something about. I think what works about this movie is kind of homage to like stuff like Psycho and Universal type monsters. It is. I don't think you put that in a more modern version of that, and I think that's where it's going to fail because this is a nice bridge between that old type of horror and coming into the newer things.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Works well there.
Yeah.
That said, I still think at some point I do want to watch the new one. It's got William Sadler in it. Come on, I mean, that might be the biggest name looking at this list, other than you've got Bill Pullman's son Lewis, who's really good in that Outer Range show.
Yeah, and I really have no problem with like no namers. Like
Alfre Woodard, Bill Camp.
If it's good, I don't care who they are. I just need. It's like to me, it's like one of the best things about the new Alien movie Romulus is that I don't know anyone in there.
Yeah.
Did you guys see? I didn't send it to you. Crap. Guess what?
What?
Romulus is getting a special VHS version release.
Shut up!
I shit you not.
Really?
Oh my gosh!
Just for collectors like you. That's awesome.
Just
man.
for suckers like me.
maybe the crappy scan lines and the 4x3 will cover up a little bit of my only problem with that movie. We'll see how
Which
it goes.
is what everybody asked in the comments when I saw that being posted.
Yeah, it's
Is it
unfortunate.
4x3? It's got scan lines.
Yeah, of course they did because they're like you.
Yeah.
They're all weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A bunch of weirdos.
but no, like what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, we haven't talked about him yet, but we haven't talked about James Mason, the familiar, not familiar. What do you?
Drinker.
Yeah,
Yes, that's he's the familiar.
Is that what they call it in Vampire Lore? It's familiar,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
They don't say it here, but that's what they call it.
He's awesome. Like if you ever, I don't know if you spend much time seeking that dude out in his older work, like in '82 is in The Verdict. He's fantastic in that. Lots of old stuff, but he's such a great actor. And at first I was like, how did they sucker his ass into doing this? He's a stage legend. He's like got all these accolades. How do you get that guy to do your schlocky TV thing? And I looked at all the trivia. That guy was stoked. He was like into this. He loved this role and he was like reveling in it and stuff. And I got to quit prejudging these things based on, Yeah, I always think everyone's going to be like, what's his name who played Obi-Wan?
Guinness.
Guinness.
Yeah, Guinness.
Famously
Yeah.
just was like, this sucks. Why am I doing this? Oh my gosh, my career is dead.
I'm so much better than this.
Yeah. I always think that era of dude is going to be like that. And this guy was like, nah, man, got to play it.
I enjoyed watching his antiquities unloading. Like there was like a mongoose getting a taxidermy snake thing, wrestling thing. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where do you think he put all that
enjoyed-
shit though? Because that house was just like so garbage. Where was all the art and the fancy?
Oh, no, that was the store. They set up a store and they bought the
Oh, you
house.
mean those?
Yeah.
Right. And that's in the book too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how they.
Yeah, and
that's how they
and-
think he's legit coming to town. He's got a store.
Yeah, and that store in Salem's Lot is the very beginning of King writing Needful Things. Like he Needful Things comes from his ideas about what that store should be.
Yeah.
I was just blown away by how Straker throughout this movie felt like, to me, he was setting a standard for this kind of role. And I'm not saying that Harvey Guillen in What We Do in the Shadows is like a clone of him, but I promise you the people making What We Do in the Shadows have watched this movie and have thought about Harvey Guillen, just like wearing clothes that are a little like this,
Yeah.
I
wouldn't be
of course,
surprised.
And like it's really funny every time Nandor says "not you, Guillermo," right?
Yes.
But like that, you could just kind of like having that knowledge makes this movie so much better for me.
Yeah. I mean, he's everybody's idea now of a comedic version of this. I guess what's that thing? What was the Nicolas Cage, Nicholas Hoult thing that came out last year? Renfair?
Renfield.
Renfair.
Oh, yeah.
Renfair. What the hell's wrong with me?
Renfair.
I'm going to get a turkey leg. We're going to watch some jousting. It's going to be
That's
fantastic.
right, exactly. Hello, fair maiden. Come inside for some goods with our name printed on them.
It's always a fun thing to play with. In fact, I really like the movie What We Do in the Shadows use of that. How they how they did the familiars, and they had various familiars in the movie and in the show. I suppose there have been other familiars, but I love that whole concept. And I also like when they parody and play with the whole ancient vampire thing with Peter in the first movie, and Doug Jones plays, I forgot the name of it, but the really old vampire in the TV show.
In the book Salem's Lot, you do not get a story for Barlow that goes before World War One.
Right.
He coming out of World War One, we get the beginnings of his story. He's in Germany. The Germans go on a vampire hunt, like that forces him to leave and go to England, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like later, maybe in Dark Tower, I don't know, like some point later, King starts telling us that Kurt Barlow is a lot older than that. But in this story, and especially in this movie, Barlow is actually not that old. He's, maybe 100 years old or something
and
like
he
that.
gets no older.
Yeah.
Yes. That's another thing. Like, he is so clearly killed in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's surprising me. I have never seen this before. And I'm shocked that this character vampire gets definitely killed.
I think the
Definitely.
the Ned
Completely
Tebbets,
indefinitely.
the Ned Tebbets character, who plays him? There's no photo here. Anyway, just because you mentioned Dark Tower, that's a character who shows up in Dark Tower stuff. So this is one of the King novels that is considered in universe for for Dark
what a
Tower.
Weird character too.
Stuff.
He's the ex-boyfriend, and he's just there to be mad.
Yeah.
About everything.
Yeah, but in the end, he's one of the creepy faces crawling toward the kid. With those thick ass contacts on. Oh my gosh,
he's the two strong backs.
Yeah.
I'm you posted a photo of what's his face,
Jeffrey Lewis,
Gravedigger, Jeffrey Lewis,
Gravedigger.
Just that whole, but like you said, that whole scene where he's in the rocking chair. Look at me.
Yeah.
I don't know if they just had a single light facing him that was just very, very good at reflecting in his eyes, or if they had something in the context that caused more of a reflection. But it's just whenever they had that reflection in the contact lenses, it was so damn freaky and powerful.
There was one of the scenes where a kid is floating outside a window.
Yeah,
I was pretty sure the eyes were animations that were drawn on
I think it was
film.
Might have been. But that stuff looks way too good. Like, you know what I mean? Like we got, I don't know how many emails already, and plus a bunch of stuff on socials, people going, oh, you guys are doing that. That thing killed me as a kid. I still think about it. That window scene. Oh my gosh, I've never gotten over it. Yeah. I mean, it's still effective. I expected nothing but cheese and schlock, and there's some.
Yeah.
But this was like, oh shit, him sitting in that dark room, that really got me.
And we had to, we watched it on Max. It's on Max.
Yeah.
This is where you're going to go to watch this if you haven't watched it yet. Hurry up and then come back to us.
Yeah, hurry up and do 3 hours.
And with Max, you never know what you're going to get. And I want you to know the film, the restored film, the transfer of this thing looks good.
Mm-hmm.
It is
do look good.
like I'm watching a 4K TV and I'm prepped for bad looks.
Yeah,
And
right. For
man,
graininess and stuff. Yeah.
Some of the famous shots from this movie, like the famous shot of looking up at Jeffrey Lewis from inside the grave. I was like, you're not gonna be able to really tell what this is. No, it looks so good. Someone took a lot of time and care to make this movie look really, really good in 2024. I'm very pleased. Like my notes are just like over and over. Film restoration looks good. I love the visual storytelling. My notes just go on and on about, how the scenes go on long, right? Because you're trying to build a sense of unease. So it gives you time to look around while you're watching these longer scenes.
Right.
And they're really there's some really great compositions in this movie. Like I want to know, like, did Tobe Hooper intend for some of these shots to be so beautiful?
Yeah.
Yes. Wow. Like, people were watching it on a terrible television back in the day.
Yeah. Somehow it works even with David Soul's horrendous haircut decisions.
I know. Is it a bob? Is it a floby? Is it a mullet? What is it?
Both David Soul and Lance Kerwin have the Lance Kerwin is a dime store Luke Skywalker in this movie,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have terrible haircuts, except in the later scene, the bookend scenes. Their hair looks great.
Mm-hmm.
How did your hair get so much better in 2 years?
You know what's what's crazy is he's still doing work, not a lot, but he did a little bit of work, and then he died. He just died last year at 62, way too young.
David Soul or who?
Lance Kerwin.
Lance Kerwin.
Yeah, and then this year David Soul passed away this year. What a weird order.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's the Salem's curse, Salem's Lot curse, the one that waits until you get old and then kills you.
That's right.
But having the two of them look so similar really did not do the beginning of the movie any credit, because you're thinking, oh, it's this guy and his son who are in Jicama, Mexico, or whatever it's called.
Right.
And I can't wait to find out how this guy and his son save us from vampires.
Right. That was a weird choice, wasn't it? Because that's not that the book didn't do this. They didn't start with that.
No.
But they decided to bookend it to give you an idea. And I do like that sometimes. I think it works okay here. I think I was all right with the foreshadowing.
It's not necessary, though. It doesn't. Usually that sort of thing is like a really good suspense thing, and it really doesn't. It doesn't give you that much suspense because you don't know what the deal is with the holy water glowing or anything like that. There's no oh wow, I can't wait to see how this works out.
Can't wait to see how they find some orcs. It's gonna be awesome.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, all it does is tell you these two people are definitely going to survive.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
You didn't have to. You could have had that scene in Guatemala without seeing the faces of the two men that are in the church getting holy water.
There you go. Yeah.
And that would have fixed it perfectly for me. I spend the whole movie going, oh, you kind of spoiled here,
Yeah. So, Brian, you just showed this Ghost album cover.
Yeah.
I just realized
the first Ghost album, Opus Eponymous.
I love that.
So there's the full poster. Have they gone on record to say, it's an homage?
100%. Yeah, it's 100% not a secret homage. It's like an intentional.
They got a lot of
They even have the little moon up there. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All
Love
right.
it.
Had no idea. Sorry,
I didn't realize how comical the hands were until you isolated them.
I know.
They're really stupid.
They really
on their
did
own.
just trace some hands with foreshortening, but if you don't think of it as little stubby fingers on this hand.
Oh, I'm going to get you, tickle you with my fucking hands. It works almost in the larger one, but in the cutout or the cropped one, it's just like I can't take that seriously.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's great. I had no idea.
And I want you to know the first edition of the book, which I own, does not have that at all. The first edition of the book
doesn't have the book ending of the Guatemala just at the end.
No, I'm saying the cover.
Oh, because the cover
right.
wouldn't have, right? Because this was made for this is the TV.
This is the TV one, yeah.
Poster.
It has a cute little town on it, with a mansion in the distance, on a hill.
Yeah.
Any discussion why they called it Salem's Lot with vampires instead of witches, and me constantly waiting? Where's the witches?
So Salem's the town, and then the lot is, I think, referring to it's double meaning, right? Lot
the town name was Jerusalem's Lot, wasn't it?
Oh, you know what? You're right. You're totally right. You're totally right.
Interesting.
So when they say Salem's Lot, then what do they now? You're making me wonder. What does that mean?
They're just shortening.
Okay,
They just like it's like saying, "Oh yeah, I live in Salt
Jerusalem.
Lake," instead of "I live in Salt Lake City."
Oh, but Jerusalem's Lot doesn't sound like Salem's. Oh, yeah, it does. It's shortening. Okay.
It's you take off the Jeru.
Yeah, you take off the Jeru,
Take
you're
off
left
the
with
Jeru.
Salem's. Okay.
Jeru.
I get it. I like that.
Yeah.
I never knew that
Yeah.
until just now. I hate learning things when I'm older that I should have known when I was younger. I hate that.
Well, it's a weird shortening of the name, right? Like Salem's Lot from Jerusalem's Lot. I mean, I guess you're saving a couple syllables, but it's not a whole lot of. It doesn't take a lot.
But he definitely, I think, at some point in time, is like, this is going to cause some confusion with it being Salem in the title and people associating witches.
Yeah.
There's surely going
Again-
to be some confusion.
If you look at this first edition cover, there is a little apostrophe mark at the beginning of Salem.
like,
Interesting.
like an abbreviation comma or whatever they call it. Yeah.
Oh.
It was originally going to be titled Second Coming. That was his original working title, Second Coming. And
'cause they talked about
Tabitha
that.
King told Stephen King, "Don't do that. It sounds like a sex toy."
Like, I thought it sounds like a religious book.
And
People-
they don't touch on it.
I was worried people would be like, "Oh no,
Yeah,
we're selling do you have a Jesus book for sale at the bookstore?"
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
They,
like his big idea was that when Jesus returns, Jesus would return as a vampire. Like Jesus would be undead or something like that. Like he never really worked through what that
I thought
all
they-
meant.
Right.
I thought they kind of implied that this was the second time that the town has been burnt down, because during the 1500s, whatever the play is supposed to be about, when they're going through the history of Salem's Lot,
Yeah.
this was the second time that because they even say the fire's heading towards town. It's like, oh no, not again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
By the way, can we talk about that decision to
Burn everything,
my
burn it
girlfriend,
all.
I think my girlfriend's in the house, but we just got to burn it. I mean, I guess it is the nice antithesis to, well, we got to go back to save the cat. We have to go back and risk certain death in order to save one one person or one small thing.
I wasn't really that invested in her anyway.
He took her to the lake twice at least.
Something I wrote down. I just have to say, I love that Stephen King's self-insert character is, of course, a novelist, and that novelist gets laid immediately upon entering this.
No kidding.
He meets a woman, and she's impressed that he wrote the book she's reading, and he gets laid so fast.
Yeah.
Well, he gives her like three options for things to do. Like, what else did I do? Well, we could go to the tractor auctions. We could go to the feed museum, or we could go up to the lake. How about the lake?
Yeah.
Whenever a girl looks at you and gives you that third option, and then gives you the eye, that's the option.
Yeah. What's crazy is that Stephen King wrote this book in his 20s. This show comes out when he's 32. Very young for somebody who just is. It feels like he's just getting started, right? Like,
he was.
And what a wild thing, to be in your 20s, have a book explode like this. He had some other ghostwriting stuff and all that around this time, but like to have that
80s,
happen, it's crazy. Yeah, go
in
ahead.
the 80s, he said this was his favorite book. I don't know if he came out with anything after this, but
the favorite he's written. Yeah,
I mean, if he came up with anything after this that was his favorite, right? Exactly.
Right.
He only released one, but in two interviews, according to the Salem's Lot Wikipedia, this was his favorite in two separate interviews in the 80s.
I could see that. His original. What was I going to say? Oh, I heard an interview recently where someone asked him what his favorite novel was that isn't his. And he just didn't even hesitate.
Anybody else's book.
That's a dumb question.
He didn't even hesitate. He said, "Lonesome Dove." The Lonesome Dove books are his favorite. Yeah.
Oh, Lonesome Dove. Yeah, that's some really well written stuff.
He thinks this is as good a writing as anyone will ever do ever, and he was just raving about it. And I thought maybe I should read Lonesome. I mean, I've seen the miniseries, but I should read the book it's based on.
Oh no, we're not watching it.
No, we're not watching that. It's like 9 hours or something.
Yeah,
it's long. It's
I
good.
need to reread Dance Macabre, because it's been like 30 years since I looked at that book, and I recall it being very interesting. Like Stephen King just going through the entire modern history of horror, and like he just has a lot to say about how horror writers like him are influenced by politics, and that they're often like I was just making fun of him using a self-insert, but like he has to, like that's how he is able to get to the points that he wants to make.
Right.
Very controversial though when he does it. People hate it in Dark Tower, but I kind of like the way he does it in Dark Tower. So
Yeah.
but I get it. Like why there's Mary Sue, right? Which is the whole your characters are all you, and then there's just inserting yourself in the story. And in the case of Dark Tower, literally, he's like,
Right.
he's called Kai King or
Right.
Stephen King, and he talks. It's after his accident or whatever that he had in the 90s, and then a lot of people really get thrown by that shit. But
What's the K stand for, Straker?
it's
What's the K stand for?
yeah,
Is it Kong? No.
no, it's King Kong.
It's King.
Get it
King
straight.
Kong.
Nothing funnier than a kid named Danny Glick being talked about seriously at a funeral.
Glick.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
The
You'd
Glick
like a-
was great.
The
It's like
Glick
Jiminy
Boys.
Glick.
Yeah.
Glick boys.
The
Yeah.
Glick boys. We're going to sure miss this Glick kid, Danny Glick. I'm like, quit saying his name. You're making this not sad. You're making it funny.
I love the names, man. We gotta. Have anybody seen Mike Ryerson? What about Boom Boom Bonnie? Like, I love the
Yeah.
names in this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Do you think
always
those
good
are
at that
people
for
he
me.
grew up with, or do you think that's just, just making shit up?
He
'Cause,
just
like,
likes a funny turn, right? I think that.
like the It kids, I think some of the It kids are based on actual people he knew or something, and their names were, some of them were just taken straight out of there. But in this one, it just felt like they were all like, Danny Glick, see, he lives up the street, see. It's just a lot of old,
Yeah, see?
See?
a lot of 50s vibes to
Well,
everything. Yeah.
I like Starsky and Hutch. I think I was telling myself a different story when I was watching this movie, because I was like, his last wife died. He's already said he's kind of evil, and the police officer said that he killed 18 people. I'm like, maybe he did. Maybe he is the bad guy.
Never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. Turned out you were wrong. But I feel you.
That's right.
I feel you. The one actor who played the doctor, Ed Flanders, which is unfortunate if you watch The Simpsons, because it's one letter from Ned Flanders. But anyway, Ed Flanders is Dr. Bill Norton. He's immediately familiar to me. I see him and I go, oh yeah, I know this guy. From
St. Elsewhere.
million things,
Watch
but
St.
mainly St. Elsewhere. Yeah. And it's weird to see him be a doctor. Did they ever hire him to be anything else? Like, I guess it probably did, but it feels like. But
So-
he was a father or a priest in The Exorcist 3, which we should probably watch at some point.
Oh.
So for my senior project in history, everybody was assigned to pick a famous person from American history and write a thesis on them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I picked, for some reason, Harry Truman. and so I read books on Truman, and I watched this movie called Plain Speaking. And Ed Flanders was Harry Truman in that movie.
Oh, no way. I could see that. I think I could kind of see that. Where is that? It's in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Yeah, he's a great character actor, but I just think of him as a doctor because of St. Elsewhere. It kind of ruined me. I used to love that show. I watched it recently, in fact. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just felt like this movie was hitting way above its weight class with these amazing actors in these relatively pedestrian roles, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What did we think? I mean, Fred Willard at the time wasn't known so much for comedy, I don't think. I think he was mostly known for...
Yeah,
I was still confusing him with Herb Tarlick from WKRP. At that point, still. That's the same guy? No.
No, slightly different. No, I'm trying to think of when that Martin Mull thing, Fernwood... that was 70s, and that was the earliest thing I can think of Fred Willard doing comedy.
Yeah,
and it was the basically everything he did for the Christopher Guest stuff, where he wasn't making the jokes. He was saying things as an inept person who didn't know he was being funny.
Right.
Which was his perfect
rest in
talent.
peace.
I haven't
That's
seen
great.
Fernwood Tonight in so long, and that used to be a common rerun, what I recall.
Yeah.
Fernwood Tonight vanished from television like 30 years ago.
Yeah, 77 is when that thing started, so it would have been a couple years before this, and there were probably a lot of surprised people seeing a very serious Fred Willard in his silky boxers putting a gun up to his forehead.
Boy, he worked real hard right up to his death. He's so many things, all comedy pretty much too. But
he was a Modern Family. He was the dad of what's his face.
Had a great run in. I think he was on Arrested Development as somebody. Can't remember. Him and Martin Mull, funny enough.
I'm just right now realizing that Fernwood Tonight and America Tonight are different shows with all the same characters.
Oh, really?
How did I not know this?
Oh, that's weird. I don't know.
Fernwood Tonight is the word tonight, and then America Tonight has the number 2 in the middle of it. Yeah. And those are different shows.
And that's how you know it's a sequel.
I never knew those were different shows. I'm confused.
I don't think I'd ever seen America Tonight. I only remember seeing Fernwood Tonight. I don't remember the America Tonight. But nobody's
Martin Mull, Norman Lear, right? It's the same thing.
And nobody's streaming it, right? Like you can't see it. It's not streaming anywhere.
I don't see it anywhere.
Like, shoot.
Somebody might have it on a Plex or something, but I don't see it anywhere.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure somebody's got it.
I'll tell you who didn't have this movie in complex ways. So Friday, I had to finish my last hour of Salem's Lot, right?
Yeah.
But it was also Audra's birthday.
Yeah.
And she had found a brand new show on Thursday night, and it was on Max, and she was running it on 2 TVs.
Uh-oh.
So when I tried to watch it lunchtime, HBO Max Salem's Lot,
oh, really?
I was met with, I'm sorry, too many devices. And I'm like,
how is she watching a show on
She's watching on 2 TVs, like, so she can watch the same series while she's going from room to room or something?
Yes.
Really? It's fine. It's her birthday, and she's excited about this new show. She's all she's talked about since Thursday. And I was like, I can't call her up and go, hey, can you?
I love it though. It's my birthday. I get to watch my show on 2 televisions.
She do whatever the hell she wants on her birthday. So I reluctantly now on this stupid shit on excuse my language, but on Vudu, because it was like $4.99 to rent or $5 to own. And I was like, I guess I own Salem's Lot now.
Just own it. It's not even like a VHS copy. I'm so sorry.
No.
Wow, there's 2 things on display here. One of them is that you are a dedicated partner. You want her to have the best birthday possible.
Absolutely. Yes.
And the other is a psychopath who rents the movie that's already on a free service he has.
Yeah.
And you coined the phrase birthday.
Yeah. I love his pronunciation of birthday.
Yeah.
Birthday.
I didn't
create
when
that.
It falls on a Monday.
Yeah.
I didn't create that. I'm just repeating it.
Yeah. I want everyone to do it. So I'm with you.
Sure.
I don't want anyone else to. I want everyone else to do
say it's
this.
my birthday. What? It's your birthday too.
See, yeah, we know the deal.
Yeah.
They also kept showing full moons, including the cover. That has shit all to do with vampires.
And Fred Willard.
Why are they showing full moons? That's not a vampire thing.
They talk about it a little bit. It's like, oh, there's sources of evil, and it's like they talked about the different evils, and I'm like, oh, is he going to rotate these out? Is it going to be witches one week? Going to be vampires? I don't know.
I don't remember any of that in the book.
I do think it's appropriate though. Like I realize it's not specific to vampirism, but like it definitely added something. You know, I wasn't offended by the full moon.
They have more power in full moons, according to the thing I just made up.
Okay.
No.
He just made up.
Also, I love that you gave it a citation like it was a source. That's great. According to this,
but as I'm saying the thing I just made up, I'm still getting a thing from Brian.
It would actually be weaker because the light coming off the moon is reflection of the sunlight.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's an interesting point.
But mirrors don't affect them. So why would the sun reflecting off a moon in essence being mirrored down to them?
It's like this is a big old bag of trouble.
Yeah.
It's like a big old bag of made up shit that we can mold to whatever fits our fictional storyline the best.
Vampire screenplays are a lot like zombie screenplays. You mold why they are
Story.
what they are around your own personal vision, and I think King has his own ideas here. So
you figure out your story, and then you pick and choose like a Chinese menu, some from column A, some from column B, whichever pieces of vampire lore fit your storyline and make it easier to tell the story you want to tell, and just kind of ignore the other, like the inviting a vampire into your house, which is one that I just love. I love that being a part of vampire lore.
Oh yeah, you have to be invited. Yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah,
best
part of the Lost Boys, I think, is the realization that they just screwed themselves by inviting the guy in.
Oh yeah,
I like the revocation of the invite. I'm like, ooh, can you do that?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Can you say I hereby
you're not invited in here anymore?
Yeah, you can't come to my house anymore, and the vampire goes,
I like that all you really have to do is touch them with a crucifix, and it doesn't even need to be a consecrated crucifix. It can just be two popsicle sticks that you strap together, and you touch them with it, and they die and vanish. That is a great thing to know.
Your cool Aurora models. Did anybody else have Aurora models as a kid? They're called Northern Lights models now, like the company name, but they had like that Wolfman one that Danny is working at on his desk. Is like, I saw that thing, and I'm like, oh my God, I had that one.
Oh, these. I forgot all about these. They had all kinds of shit. Yeah. This is great.
That kid's room was my life because he also had the chemistry set with all the numbered bottles and stuff. I was like, oh, I used to have that when I used to make chemicals.
Yeah. I had the King Kong one. Oh, here it is. I had this. Hold on, let me show you guys this. So I had the King Kong one that I thought was amazing when I was a kid, because I was really into the 70s King Kong, and this wasn't even like based on the 70s King Kong.
Look at the nipples on that thing.
Yeah. It's almost like this is a whole generation's version of 3D printing in a way. I mean, it is, as far as like the fandom around it, like, oh, I got to build the latest model. And they put
I gotta get high on the glue.
Mine was Cars and Planes, right? I was doing
you were doing Cars and Planes,
But man, when he's in his bedroom and Dad comes in and he's like, I had those removable handcuffs. Loved that. And when he says I can get out of any knot, I was just like, Chekhov's gun.
Yep.
I called it in that moment.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. It was, it was definitely a very heavy-handed foreshadowing moment. But boy, how pissed off were you at that dad? Like, when do you think you're going to grow out of this, enjoying yourself with things you find entertaining?
Perfect.
Then the kid
that's how we all felt.
He'd finished his homework an hour earlier. He's not. He's got great grades. He's a good kid. He's not in trouble.
Sorry, Dad. I guess I'll go out and do drugs with the other kids. Would you like that? Is that better?
Freaking prick. That dad pissed me off.
But that was effective. That was perfect.
I mean, that's exactly what they were trying to do. Exactly. So our reaction is dead on. But man, what a pud!
Total pud.
That's
stupid
mad.
Accountant.
There's a Batman one of these. Sorry, you put me down a rabbit hole.
That Batman one. That had that Batman one too, and that thing was really cool because he's like swinging around a tree. It's great.
Oh, that's so good. It's like the '60s Batman era looking dude.
The '60s. Yep, exactly.
In fact, it looks like. What's his name? I forgot his
Adam
name.
West.
Adam West. Yeah,
it does look like Adam West. Yeah.
You even have a good little crotch fold going on there.
Crotch fold.
Bat knuckle.
His bat knuckle. Exactly. Don't worry, old chum. I'll keep the knuckle.
The bat logo is a little low on the chest for I think it should be center chest, not upper abs.
Yeah. So if I only had one other issue with this movie in a film sack perspective, is that nothing grossed me out. It was all pretty standard to me.
Yeah, I was looking for something that might gross you out, and
there wasn't even like people doing something gross outside of vampires. Like I thought maybe Fred Willard running around in silky underwear would be grosser than it was. It was fine. It's just a guy in his underwear. Like, there's nothing in there.
How hairy Fred Willard was. How about that?
Yeah, you know what? That's pretty gross. If I had to stand too close to him, I wouldn't like that.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know. I don't know what that says about me. I don't like hearing that.
Don't stand so close to Fred.
I think when we get a glimpse of the small of his back, I was kind of grossed out.
Yeah, it was pretty gross.
Oh yeah.
He's got a nice little growth patch down there.
Exactly. It's like, we know where that hair is going.
Yeah. I mean, maybe just the overall, like there's a kind of a wood paneled 70s smell to everything. Like maybe that's it. Maybe it's just like the era. And when you're a kid, really young, I remember everything just being musty and I get a lot of that out of it. So maybe that grossed me out, but not in a way that I'm going to play the clip.
I was grossed out by Starsky and Hutch's come on, like when she was the Arctic lady's just laying in the park trying to do her little artwork, and he's all like,
that was creepy,
creeping up. Yeah. Hey, baby.
That was a red flag.
My book.
Yeah.
Recognize me.
That was a red flag, especially.
You should take better care of my book.
Right.
Yeah. It really threw me when I first saw her because I went, I know her. And I hadn't looked it up yet. And it was driving me nuts. And I finally looked it up and I went, ow, she's freaking John McClane. It's Holly McClane.
Yeah.
Gennaro for a while or whatever.
Holly Gennaro.
What else here? I wrote I wrote the vampire used the Three Stooges technology to kill parents in the kitchen.
Bonk.
Bonk. I know we talked about that already. Let's see.
I wrote that clock's got a big dong. So like there's a scene where you see
That's great.
the clock, like the watchtower or the clock tower, save the clock tower looking thing with this huge long clanger, whatever they call that thing that goes back and forth.
Clackers. Oh, you talking about
the thing that goes back and forth, like on a grandfather clock that goes back and forth. But
pendulum?
This was just on the side of a building.
They call them pendulum? Am I thinking of something else?
Pendulum. Yeah, pendulum is good.
Is that it?
Probably
grandfather clock pendulum.
To watch too. The pendulum.
Ooh, I don't even know what that is.
Is that a movie? And obviously based on what, The Pit and the Pendulum by
that's what. Yeah, The Pit and the Pendulum. Yeah.
The Pit Pendulum.
I shortened it just like Jerusalem's Lot to Salem's Lot. Yeah, why not?
Oh, I've seen this. The big blade that cuts the lady.
Yeah.
The Pit and the Pendulum. Is it based? I didn't know it was based on the actual Poe thing, but I guess it is. It would be, wouldn't it? Vincent Price, Barbara Steele. Oh, yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Steele. How'd she get cut?
Well, turns out that name is a little misleading. Turns out.
Not so Steele, are we?
Let's see. I also wrote here, where'd it go? Here it is. George A. Romero was originally attached to direct. They ended up changing it because let's see, Werner Herzog's Nosferatu the Vampire in '79 also was almost got Werner the deal. I want to have more vampires, he'd say. Show me the baby.
Bring me the vampire.
I want to see the kid wrapped in plastic. Romero dropped out. And let's see, he said he was feeling like he wouldn't be able to make it in the way he wanted to because there's too many restrictions at the network. He wanted to get gross.
I don't do TV. Yeah, is really what it is.
I won't do it. And then there was another one that says this is the first television miniseries and second film to be released based on Stephen King's writings. I guess the first film would have been Carrie, right? I think. And we've done Carrie.
Yeah,
they're all gonna laugh at you.
Definitely was exactly. Definitely was before, but yeah. But you're saying the first television adaptation, or just
first television miniseries is this, and then this was also made into a film, and it makes it the second film.
The second film, okay, gotcha. Which is interesting because it's second book, so it's rare that like book adaptations come in the order that the author wrote them in.
Oh, good point. Yeah, Carrie was first, then that. Yeah. I just want to play that line. Classic. Classic.
Loving you.
Any other thoughts about this 3-hour monstrosity before we play clips and things?
Just that I expected to end and say, oh, well, they could have edited a lot out of that. Like they must have been going for a runtime. And when I actually got to the end, I thought, I mean, sure, I could have tightened it up a bit. I could have stood for it to be tightened up a bit. But I enjoyed the sense of unease that some of the long drawn out spaces gave.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. Same, I agree. Wasn't it surprising because you just thought I was in for a real slog. I really did. I just thought it was going to be, this is taking so long. And I'm not saying that this automatically means all 3-hour movies are great for Film Sack. It's not what I mean.
Not a movie, miniseries.
But
and we gotta. I'm sorry. I have to put my foot down. This is just a 3-hour movie. There's nothing. There's no reason to call it a mini.
But it was aired in 2 chunks and 2 weeks apart, and you got to give them.
Yeah, and I mean all the cut to the commercials were really some of them were very disruptive.
Yes, and those I think most of those were the freeze and zooms. Look, we'll continue with Salem's Lot after this word from Pepsodent.
Oh my gosh, you can totally hear it.
I did like the intro credits and stuff, and how the credits were revealed. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
oh yeah, that stuff was very. I mean, if I was I never saw this as a kid, but had I think it would have freaked me the F out.
Oh yeah, very effective.
Yeah, I think it would have worked for the time, and funny how it holds up. I don't know. Like, I'm not here to tell you it's our best movie we've ever seen, it's our or miniseries, depending on anyone to call it. But it's definitely not a piece of shit. It's better than that.
Well, Daughters of Satan was half as long and felt long.
Yeah.
Like, how is that possible?
Yeah. Totally right. Had more boobs though. Notice that.
Oh yeah. But still not enough.
Not enough boobs.
Right.
Yeah. How many boobs is enough though, Dunaway? How many? How many boobs?
7.
More,
7.
obviously
Whoa.
more than that.
That's only 3 girls and someone with
I
a
was about
problem.
to say that is an odd number of boobs.
It's the hey Marge, guess how many boobs I saw today? 13.
Or maybe it's the girl from Total Recall. She showed up, made
There
it.
you go.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
just
true.
one of her.
Yeah, it's not minus. We're going plus here. All right. Well, let's do some clips. I've got a bunch lined up that have been chosen very carefully through the watching of this film. And we'll start with this one where kind of lady gets around lady tells you how nice the house is.
It's real nice.
No, it isn't.
It's real nice.
No, it's garbage. It's a terrible house. And then this guy confirms.
Very tasteful. Very tasteful.
Yeah, very, very tasteful. First thing you ask when you get a rented space.
How do I get breakfast?
Yeah.
Very important question.
It is. That's the first thing I ask when Tina and I go on a trip. It's the first thing I want to know. Yeah.
I got I guess we'll do this on TMS, but I'm excited to hear about I hate parades, but that parade you showed us is a parade I would go to. I would go to that.
Oh, really? Why do you hate parades?
I
What's
hate
wrong with
them.
you?
I don't know. Normal parades, right? With just floats, that kind of thing.
Marching bands going by and
Oh man, there's
Hate
always a group. There's
you
always a
hate
group
America,
right-
don't you?
I must hate
You
America.
go to a parade to find out that there's this club of horse owners that all ride horses, and you didn't even know that they were in your neighborhood.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's just standing there. When I would do it the most was with fussy kids, and when I was a kid, I couldn't see over people. I just have not great memories of any parades. But what that looked like a blast. Like,
Yeah, that was so fun. It was great. There were 2 whole sections of Ecto ones. Like there was
Wow.
the first batch of like 6 of them that went by, and everybody in Ghostbusters garb going, "Hey audience, who are you gonna call? Oh, now you need you to say it louder." And then they passed, and then we had a bunch of like fire trucks and ambulances, things like that, and then a whole another section of Ecto ones, like another 6 or 7.
yeah.
And then I just found out there was a Denver Hearse Association, just a bunch of hearses that drove down, like about 12 totally modded out, decoed hearses that were really cool.
Something to
dead people a day. No, let's go on down. Then let's head to the parade.
see. I don't know why this is, but if you said Halloween parade, I'm all in. Sign me up. Let's
Yeah.
go. You say Christmas
Yeah.
parade, I'm like, I'll stay home, watch football.
Sure. Or Thanksgiving parade.
Yeah,
Although,
boring.
I would like to go once to the Thanksgiving parade, but I'd like to do it the way Jerry did it, up in an apartment looking down on it.
Oh, I like
and not
that.
actually on the ground. You just watched that episode last night, didn't you?
No, this is the first time in a while where you didn't match my watching. I think I saw it last week though, so it's not too far off. We always have it on. So,
Yeah.
all right. I wrote this file's called "When I Like to Poo." I don't remember what I was doing, so here it is.
Mornings only, and I don't recommend it.
Oh, all right. I don't remember what that was. All right. I could listen to this talk all day.
Yeah, Ava married this fella called Weasel Phillips. Thin as a heron's leg, smelled like a skunk, never made a decent living. Nobody could figure out why.
Love that kind of talk.
Nobody can figure out why.
That's some of the like small town Maine king
Right.
dialogue. I just love that stuff. Getting warmer.
Getting warmer.
That's the weird homeless guy. What was his name?
Oh, yeah.
Pecker or something. What was it? Not Pecker.
Jasper or something?
Something like that.
Pecker.
Whatever it was.
Pecker.
Brian, but I found an opposite of an Ernest Borgnine clip, so
Oh, okay.
you'll like this.
Want to make $50?
Instead of
Yeah.
the other guy should have said, "You got $50," and like that, and then you
Sure. Yeah, that would have been perfect. Yeah.
them trying to do Maine accents and then sort of failing.
You know, you shouldn't leave your truck double parked like this.
Parked.
No, you wouldn't want me to go all the way to Portland without saying goodbye to Bonnie. What's in Portland? Gotta make a pickup.
And then they would say Portland, and then they say Potland, and then it was all over the place. They couldn't quite get that stuff down.
Yeesh.
It's fine though. Whisper to me.
You just get over here and I'll whisper things in your pearly little ear that'll make your hair stand up.
What does that mean? Your curly little ear? It just means the
Yeah.
folds of your ear shape.
I guess.
Ugh. Yeah, I didn't like that. Let's see. What you say to your cat.
Stay right there, puss.
All right. That's a weird thing to call your wife.
It is, yeah.
This is just called Larry? What was I doing here? All right. Whatever this is, here it is.
Steady, Larry. Don't move. Don't move.
Daddy Larry? Oh, Steady Larry.
Steady, Larry.
Daddy Larry, don't move.
Don't move, Larry.
I don't even know what part of the movie I'm listening to.
With the
there.
shotgun.
The gun in
Yeah.
his face.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
That whole
Gotcha.
thing.
Larry!
And then he shut the door and you got to hear this Foley work. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Glass. Oh, I hate this sound even now. I can't do.
Yeah.
Anyone else go crazy with that? Because I can't do it. I just can't. Hearing that right
Nails
now.
on a chalkboard kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes me want to get up and run out of the house. I hate that sound so much.
Yeah.
Some people are fine with it. Like people rubbing balloons drive some people crazy. I don't mind those at all. Rub balloon all day. That farty sound you make with a balloon, not a problem. It's this. I have whatever your phobia thing. I
Yep,
have that
you have
with
that
that.
How do you feel about like you're coming back from dinner and each of you are bringing home some leftovers from the restaurant and it's in two separate styrofoam containers and in the bag on the floor as you drive, you're going over bumps and those two styrofoam containers are rubbing against each other. Any problems?
Drives
with that?
my wife crazy. Does not bother me at all.
Yeah, it doesn't drive me crazy, but I have people who like just makes the hair on their arms stand.
Yeah,
on
it's
it.
so weird how we all react
Yeah.
different to that stuff. All right, here's a dad talking about his boy. I think this is Mr. Glick.
He's a healthy boy. He's athletic. He's a normal boy.
Yeah, he's a normal boy.
He's a normal boy.
My
He wouldn't get lost in the thing.
But the way he says the end of this, listen to this real careful.
He's a healthy boy.
Boy. He's a healthy boy.
All right. Let's see. Great threat fixed toilet. What? I don't know what I wrote last night, but here it is.
Ned Tebbets was around here today, fixing a toilet and threatening to fix you.
Oh, okay. So
I'll fix you like I fixed this toilet with a wax ring.
Yeah.
I love her delivery.
She's great.
That, he gets like 3 lines, and that is just, it's beautiful to listen to.
Found out she's from here somewhere close to me. She grew up here.
She's also very nice when it comes to people calling at 4 a.m. It's just like, oh, there's a phone call for you. It's 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Didn't you get that?
He seemed more put out, and
right, exactly.
She had to go get it. Yeah.
She had to go get him. Yeah,
she was very nice renter lady. All right, are you on something?
Are you on something?
Yeah, I'm on something. We heard this earlier, but this is what he was upset about.
Found my dog dead.
He's dead. And dead.
What was his name? Lucky? No, what was it?
No, the dog was Marston.
Marston?
No, the dog wasn't Marston. He kept calling his name. It was like
the dog.
Fantastic. What was it?
There was some trivia about the dog. The last time you see him being under.
Which,
here we
by
go.
the way, disturbing.
Yeah.
While the killing of Mike Ryerson's dog is never explained, the tombstone above it says Marston. This implies the dog that he was just sacrificed to Marston.
Faithful is the dog's name.
Yeah.
Faithful.
I misread the trivia.
That's all right. That's right. He was yelling faithful, which is a weird thing to name your dog. All dogs are faithful dogs. You don't have to name them faithful.
I had to turn on the closed caption for that little tidbit.
But your puss is totally not faithful.
Oh, 100%. Your puss will do what your puss will do.
Stay, puss.
All right. Here is how. Now, if somebody ever asks you to define the character, the Fantastic Four leader and character named Reed Richards, this is how you define him. Okay.
He's the Thing's bodyguard. He prepares the way.
Yeah, that's how you define him.
Okay.
Right.
Oh,
I went a long way for that one. All right. There is your clips, and that means time for the checklist. Everyone you ever saw in the 70s on TV? Check. Starsky and John McClane have shared that lady's lips? Check. And I meant Hutch because I keep confusing them.
Right.
And then finally, never let Grandpa walk you down the hall with animal horns at the end of it. Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
Woo! That was rough.
Everybody,
Also,
we all saw that coming. He didn't.
Yeah.
So is there established, I don't think the book did any of this, but is there any kind of out there lore about vampires where your familiar can have super strength? Because they definitely leaned into that.
I'm assuming they do because he's old, right?
Well, Renfield does too, right? Like Dracula gives him just enough, imbues him with some power, and then gives him just enough blood from small bugs and insects and small animals to give him a subset of his powers. So that goes all the way back to Bram Stoker lore.
So that was like that's an OG thing, like an old.
That's OG. Yeah,
Okay.
your familiar gets you get to give your familiar some powers so he can protect you.
And you have long life because you want him around for a long time and all that.
Right.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
But you don't want to give him too much. Daywalker.
And you need
Right,
him
exactly.
you need him to guard you every single day because you're sleeping during the day.
Oh,
Exactly,
right.
and to put ne'er-do-wells in shirtless ne'er-do-wells in vehicles and make it look like an accident.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
And take care of the UPS package with a kid in it or whatever was going on there.
Oh man, you
Yeah.
wrapped that up nice.
They did. That book gets real dark with that, where the kids disappear. It's real. It's like, I remember at the time going, man, I'm used to adults dying in your horror movies and novels, but this, geez Louises. All right. Let's get on to the Star Trek connections. I know at least one, but Randy, you probably got more.
My gosh, these folks were all over the original series. This was the original series reunion. This movie. So we have David Soul, who played Ben Mears in this movie. He was Makara in the episode The Apple, and again, all original series.
Yeah, very young.
Elisha Cook Jr. played Weasel in this movie and played Samuel Cogley in the episode Court Martial of Star Trek. Julie Cobb played Boom Boom Bonnie in this movie and played Yeoman Thompson in the original series episode Any Other Name. Reggie Nalder played the vampire in this movie and was Shrass in the episode Journey to Babel.
Oh, you're Shrass.
But here's our big winner of the week. If we ever see her again, this is going to be our big winner. Barbara Babcock, who played June Petrie, Mom, in this movie. She was in 6 episodes of the original series as all different characters. She's the Jeffrey Combs of the original series. Her episodes were The Squire of Gothos, A Taste of Armageddon, Assignment Earth, The Tholian Web, Plato's Stepchildren, and The Lights of Zetar.
Wow. That's pretty good. I forgot to mention, too, that we haven't talked about her at all because she wasn't in this very long, but Bonnie Bartlett's in this. And you know her from everything. She was in Better Call Saul recently. She was in V, St. Elsewhere, 79 episodes of St. Elsewhere, working with that other guy. Parks and Rec more recently, this sort of thing. Anyway, we know her a bit because we just watched Firefly again, and she was, what was her name in that? She was the old lady that ran the town.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I could have sworn she was in Star Trek because she's in like Stargate. She's in like a bunch of sci-fi stuff, little bits and pieces. I could have sworn she was in Star Trek, but I guess she's not one of them. That's the one I thought was in it. So it shows what I know. She was Patience. Yeah. In Firefly. Oh, in Firefly, right? Yeah. She was great in that. Just kind of a crusty old lady with a shotgun.
Crusty old lady with a shotgun.
Yeah. She was really good on, let's see, the Better Call Saul role was her last one in 2017. She played Helen in a single episode, but I remember it being memorable. She was very good. Well, there you go. Let's get on now to the soundtrack grade. I give it an MB for not bad for the era. Thought it was fine. They went orchestrated, which I think helped, and it was all right.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Yeah, it was right for what it was trying to do. I didn't like, there was never a time when I was like, I was bracing for orchestra swells going into commercial breaks.
Yeah.
But no, they didn't do that. It was totally straight.
Yeah. Worked good, I thought. Then the social media post thing swings around, and it's a thing we do here. Here's what happens.
Rears its ugly head.
Yeah, that's right. Each of you have these 280 characters, which are just like fake, but whatever. We're giving them to you. And you can fill in whatever you want to say within the limits of 280 characters. And for those at home, that's like an A or a 1 or a B or whatever letter or number you'd like to have for your character.
Spaces count?
Spaces absolutely count against your characters, unfortunately.
Okay. All right.
So just know that getting into it as I start this week completely randomly with Randy.
Salem's Lot. A pretty good flick with some scarier parts, especially those with stakes, hammers, and hearts. Still, it needed some comic relief, like Matt Berry showing off Laszlo's erotic topiary.
That's pretty good.
I've been vexed by the devil. All right. You're making me want to go watch that show. All this talk about vampires. Just
Laszlo's season coming this month, right?
Yeah.
The final season.
Yeah.
Laszlo's erotic topiary is one of the most surprising things I've ever seen in my life. Like when that suddenly is happening on the screen for the first time for you, it is a moment that you should remember the rest of your life.
Yeah. Do you think on set when he does anything for any show, they just say, let him say dumb shit. We don't care because it's amazing. We're going to keep it.
I don't want to ever see Matt Berry get interviewed ever again because I don't feel like he is as into it as I am into him being into it.
Yeah, he's kind of quiet about it, isn't he? He's weirdly like introverted in his interviews, and it throws you because otherwise he's so Jackie Daytona, real bartender human or whatever. Like he's so over the top, and then he's interviewed and he's like, yes, I very much enjoy working on the show you're talking about. It's
He's made a really
weird.
good character.
Yeah, I just love him. All right, let's get now to Brian Dunaway and his 280 character sum up.
Salem's Lot, which is short for Jerusalem's Lot, which is something I just learned today. But still, no witches in this movie. Hashtag bring me a mini-series amount of beers.
Yeah. Nice. Nicely done. Brian Ibbett, take us home.
262 characters. Salem's Lot. The process by which vampires propagate involves a complex bioalchemical transference of vampiric essence. This begins when the vampire, utilizing specialized dentition evolved for precision piercing, initiates an exsanguination process, drawing blood while simultaneously introducing a unique cocktail of anticoagulants and necroenzymes via their saliva. Oh, I'm sorry. When you said vampires and their geometric progression, I thought you wanted to get all sciencey.
Oh, I kind of did.
Geometric progression. I thought that was hilarious. That was one of my favorite parts.
Geometric progression.
Yeah.
It's like, it was also the shampoo commercial. You'll tell two friends and then they'll tell two friends. Same thing.
Yeah. I played bass for them in the 90s. They were a great band.
Yeah.
Geometric progression.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Had to be a prog rock band, right?
Hell yeah. That's all they would do. Some covers, but whatever. All right. That is it for that. Let's move on to the alternate titles. These were just handed to me. This is definitely a piece of paper and not a bag of chips. All right. Okay. Definitely not chips. Let's see here.
Not anymore, anyway.
It was almost called Starsky and Munch. or interview with a very late into the second episode vampire. All right. He rarely showed up. The only complaint he had in the trivia is that his character barely showed up in this thing. Lots of stuff got cut.
Yeah.
Sure.
Unfortunately, Barlow needs more screen time. Moving on to our texts. We got a couple of them this week, and I'm going to start with this one for Film Sack. Oh, you know what? I left off. There's a call we have to play. Here it is.
Okay.
I forgot to write it down, but we have to play this call. It came in. So Dunaway, this is directed at you. All right.
Uh-oh.
But in a way, it's directed at all of us. And you'll understand why. It's actually really great. And it's one of our favorite callers. Whenever he calls in, we all have to listen to what this guy says. So anyway, here it is. I'll just let it happen.
Film Sack. Hey, can we throw the spotlight onto Dunaway really quick? Because I just want to say, when this dude cracks an egg, it's an omelet. But it's not just any omelet. It is an omelet with a special gummy bear. And when you take that gummy bear, dude, you're in for a ride. And I am sold on the Dunaway train because he's always taking up for the little guy. And he always balances the conversation at any time that there's a disagreement, as long as it doesn't involve water. And I just think that's how we should all be. So thanks, dude. And Randy, thanks for being the Jordan to my Pippen. No. Thanks for being the Pippen to my Jordan. I got something cooking. All right. That might be my last one then. You guys are awesome. Stay cool.
I love this.
Love it. So good.
I want whatever weed strain he's into.
Yeah. I want the gummy. I want all of it in my body.
Yeah,
exactly.
That was amazing.
Oh
we agree. Dunaway's the perfect ingredient on the show. Everyone loves
Absolutely.
Dunaway.
Yeah, you got to stand up for the little guy.
We're all on the Dunaway train.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, then you got to draw the line somewhere with water. Come on.
That's right.
That's the deal.
I am definitely the Jordan to your Piven.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. It's weird.
I'm definitely the Jordan. Whatever else you might think.
I think you meant Pippen, right? Like Scottie Pippen? Or
no?
I
maybe he meant Pippen.
The Michael Jordan to your Scottie Pippen?
That might have been it.
Pippen.
I heard
Piven as well, but
I heard Piven, so I was thinking, wait, Entourage or something,
like
or
Jeremy Piven? Yeah, I know. I don't know.
7
I
cycles.
guess we are going to need another call from you, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I would like to know more. Like, what did you think of Michael Jordan? I thought he was a little bit overrated.
Oh, my Lord.
Send your emails to randijordan@gmail.com.
I mean, I'm just saying it was a shooting percentage. I was a kid with Michael Jordan posters on my wall, and I watched these games.
Yeah.
And the guy, he had a pretty low shooting percentage, all things considered.
He's still he's the GOAT, though, right? Greatest of all. He's gotta be. I know LeBron's awesome, and so is Kobe. There's a bunch of players who should, are all in the ring, but I'm telling you, it's Lord Jordan, man. Has to be.
Lord LeBron is the GOAT, and you always have to count Shaquille O'Neal because he completely changed the game.
I also
completely.
Love him. Yeah.
But Jordan is definitely top 5 along with like Kareem and Magic, like top 5.
I love about Shaq. One of his sons came to him and says, "Dad, I have this amazing shoe company idea, and I want you to invest in it." And he said, "Go to school, get a business degree, then come to me." Like, made him do 4 years of college and get understand business and all that before he'd even talk about investing in his stupid shoe company. And then we'll talk. And I think he ended up doing it, but I love that guy. He's great.
Yeah.
He also makes the best faces when he gets a hot wing on that hot one. Like by far the best faces.
I need to get up to LA and see the Lakers this year. This is
you should get in there.
Thing, like, it's their, LeBron isn't forever. And
if you believe the talk, it might be his last. So you should go get in there. So here are a couple of texts as well. These also came to that same number, 801-471-0462. This one is from Alex in Savannah, who says, "Hey, this is for Film Sack. Is the Dark Man lair and the place where RoboCop got shot up the same set? I didn't realize how much my childhood was based on this movie. I was afraid of getting my fingers cut off by a cigar cutter and that bird pecking at the lighter for the explosion.
Story.
Keep up the show, guys." I tried to find out if it was the same like warehouse space, and I couldn't find anything that confirmed it, but he's not wrong. There's a real vibe
like
there.
That Detroit kind of abandoned warehouse kind of feeling. So yeah.
Totally. So both of those.
We talked about how Michael Bay used the same empty building in like 5 different things,
right? And the same B-roll footage, too, or even A-roll footage.
Yeah, that scene on the freeway, straight up lifted from his previous film. It's hard to get too mad because it's like, well, it's his movie, I guess, so it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. And had you not seen it before, it fit right into the movies. So it's
it was just missing a transformer in the background or whatever it was called.
Missing a transformer.
I think you're missing a transformer.
I'm going to make burgers with my brother. All right, here's this text. Just watched the movie Passengers from 2016 with a quick look Google search. I don't think you've watched it yet. That's true, we haven't. I think it is a great film sack movie, sci-fi, dramatic, ridiculous, and fun. When I finished watching it, I wanted to know what y'all thought. Streaming on Prime, starring Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt. I think the only way I'll see that one is probably with you guys, because it's a huge disappointment for what I thought it was going to be originally, and it ends terribly, and it's perfect for us, so we probably should.
And among movie watchers, like people on TikTok who only talk about movies, Passengers is a big discourse. It's like been going on for years. People want to always dig into the story decisions of Passengers.
Yeah,
and so like I've always been kind of holding it off. Like I need to get away from that. Like I need some time because I really want to talk to you guys about this movie. And it feels like everybody's talking about this movie for some reason. It's on our long-term list.
I just remember loving the bartender role from the robot bartender played by what can't I think of his name? Michael Sheen.
Yeah, who was that? Michael Sheen, right? Yeah,
just memorable as hell, really good. And then after watching David here, or not David, but Covenant, Alien Covenant here recently, the scene at the end where the girl realizes that Walter is no longer Walter. They do the same thing. They do the same scene in Passengers. Same damn thing happens, except her realization is that he's brought her out so that she's going to die now, or whatever the reveal was. He's a dick or whatever. It's a weird movie. Passengers deserves to be picked apart, so maybe we do get it on our list.
I agree, and I like, I don't know if any of us would fall on the defending Chris Pratt side, but it sure would be interesting to see if see what kind of discussion we'd have about it.
Yeah. I mean, I like him generally in his roles. I'm not on that hate train that everybody else seems to be on.
No, me neither. I like Chris Pratt.
Yeah, I think he's fine. Let's see here. That's it for those. 801-471-0462. Once again, you can send those there, do a voicemail, or if you'd rather email us, do it the old-fashioned way. That's fine too. That's filmsack@gmail.com. Quick mention of some patrons here. Actually, one in particular just joined us this week. His name is Ben Lamb. And that makes me hungry for mutton. Anyway, he joined us this week. Why? Well, he gets no commercials ever. He gets pre-show content every week, monthly special episodes from hosts. We got one coming up from Randy. He's next on the list. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, a couple days.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Ooh, exciting.
You can, hear me. I'm not talking about October movies. Last 2 years, I've talked about October movies.
Oh, because it always falls in October. I haven't thought about that.
We're somewhere completely different this time. It's I don't want to even spoil it.
Oh, that's right. With three of us, do we always end on the same months? Or four of us, I mean.
Yeah, 4 of us in 12 months in a year.
Yeah,
we always
gonna have the same months.
I wasn't counting me, I guess. I don't know what I was thinking there. I look forward to it, Randy. That's coming up. Of course, some movie-related art, prints in the mail, other cool stuff you can get if you just sign up today at patreon.com/filmsack. That's patreon.com/filmsack. Our next movie will be, I have question marks. I didn't write it down.
Puppet Master.
Puppet Master. Oh, cool.
Oh,
it's
Halloween, friends.
What year? Remind me.
1989. This was directed by a guy named David Schmoller in 1989. It stars Paul Amat, William Hickey.
Oh,
and it's the first of
you
many.
Asked for it, you got Toyota.
The series was a big collection at Blockbuster. A whole bunch of these.
Blessing. Hold on, there was a bunch of Puppet Masters.
Puppet Master. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Series.
Okay. I have no familiarity with this series at all. I don't know it. Also, this is 20 years after the movie we just saw, or the miniseries. Anyway, watch for that. Right? Puppet Master.
It's 10 years after the one.
I'm sorry, 10. Boy, that's a big difference in 10 years, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
79 to 89, massive difference. 99 to 09, not that big a deal.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's not even right. No, that's right. 99, what's another... 20.
The scariest thing this Halloween is got smashed.
09 to 19. Those don't feel like massive changes, but 89, 79, what a difference. Oh.
Yeah.
It's just because we're older. I don't know what it is. Anyway, filmsack.com is the website to go to find anything else you might be looking for. That will do it for us. For me, for Brian, and for Randy.
Look at me.
We'll see you next time.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
He's a healthy boy.